Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about the sports cars and the sports sedans I've owned over the last 4 years. Let's talk a little bit about how I was able to afford these cars in the first place. Now, if you've followed my channel for a while, you will know I talk a lot about additional streams of income. And the reason I talk about additional streams of income is because that's how I put myself in a position to be able to afford the cars I'm getting ready to talk about. But we'll get to additional streams of income in a little bit. Let's dive into these sport cars, sport sedans, and sport SUVs that I've owned over the last 4 years. My very first sports car was a 2015 Porsche Cayman. It was a beautiful spec. Black paint, platinum wheels, black interior. It was a great car. It was a great first sports car. But what I quickly figured out with the Cayman was it was underpowered. It was 275 brake horsepower, 215 pound-foot of torque. And that was just a little bit too slow for me, at least for a sports car. The Cayman looked nice, but it just didn't have enough punch for me. So I went back to my local Porsche dealer where I bought the Cayman from and said, hey, I'm ready to get out of this Cayman. What else can I get into that has more horsepower, more torque, and gives me a bigger punch? And they said, Richard, we just got in a 2015 Porsche 911 GTS. It has 430 brake horsepower, 324 pound-foot of torque. It's going to give you that punch you're looking for. Man, once they showed it to me, I fell in love with it. That aggregate gray metallic paint, it was awesome. You had the black satin wheels, 305 tires in the back, so you got a whole bunch of grip, and it had that Alcantara black interior on the inside. It was right up my alley. So guys, that is the second sports car that I owned. My first sport sedan that I owned was a 2016 Bmw M5. Let me tell you guys, I dailied the M5 for about 5 months, and I can tell you, it was a wonderful sports sedan to have. To be 4 doors, 560 brake horsepower, over 500 pound-foot of torque. The only problem with the M5 was it was rear-wheel drive, and I'm a street guy. I'm not a track guy. So for me, I wanted to be able to quickly get out from a stoplight to stoplight, and with the M5 being rear-wheel drive, it was hard to put that 560 brake horsepower down to the pavement. So that was a little bit hard for me. Now I know the new M5s come 4-wheel drive, and I got my eye on one of them to replace the SL63 as my daily. But that 2016 M5 was my first real sports sedan, and I owned that car for about 18 months actually. The reason I sold the M5 is I had an opportunity in 2017 to purchase a 2016 Range Rover SVR. You talk about top of the food chain when it comes to SUVs. That Range Rover SVR was awesome. So I traded in my BMW M5 for the Range Rover SVR. And a lot of people ask me, do you regret trading in the M5 for the SVR? And I always say, no guys, you just don't understand. You're talking about a sport utility vehicle with over 500 brake horsepower, over 500 pound-foot of torque, and all-wheel drive. So no, I didn't regret selling the M5 and purchasing the SVR. So let's move back to the Porsche 911 GTS. So I owned the GTS for about 15 months. But then I had an opportunity to buy a 2015 Porsche 911 GT3. My local Porsche dealer called me up one day and said, "Hey Richard, I know you're in the GTS and I know you're loving it, but we just took a GT3 in on trade. You may want to come by here and take a look at it." I said, "No, I like the GTS, I'm good." They said, "No man, come by here and take a look." So I did. I went by the Porsche dealer, and when I saw that GT3 with the big wing, oh man, it was in black. It had satin, platinum satin wheels. It was a great spec. So I traded in the GTS and I purchased the GT3. I had the GT3 only 5 months, and then I had my eye on my dream car. 2015 Ferrari 458 Italia. I had been looking for a Ferrari 458. I hadn't found the right spec. So I went ahead and bought the GT3 thinking, okay, once I find the right spec in the 458, then I will trade in the GT3 and take delivery of a 2015 Ferrari 458. So within that 5 months of ownership of the GT3, one came available, and it was the right spec at the right price, and I pulled the trigger on it. So I traded in my 2015 Porsche 911 GT3 and I purchased a 2015 Ferrari 458. And I gotta tell you, over the last 2.5 years, guys, I have enjoyed the 458. It's been great. Next, sports sedan wasn't really a sports sedan. It was a sport coupe. It's the SL63 AMG. That was my second luxury, high-end, non-sports car. Even though I look at the SL63 as a sports car because it's a 2-door, it's a hardtop convertible. It has 530 brake horsepower, 590 pound-foot of torque. It's a monster, man. And that's what I daily drive. So let's fast forward to the brand new 2019 Porsche 911 GT3 that I currently have in the garage. Now, how did I come about getting that? Well, I had been searching for an allocation, and I had been talking to my local Porsche dealer about getting an allocation. I got the call that I had the allocation. I immediately went there and put my deposit down. But in order to get the GT3, I had to let one of my 3 current cars go. And at the time, it was the 458, it was the Range Rover SVR, and the SL63. So I decided to let the Range Rover SVR go, and I bought the 2019 Porsche 911 GT3. It was a wonderful experience because I was able to spec that car from the ground up. It's exactly the way I wanted it. So right now in the garage, I got the 458, the GT3, and the SL63. But that's going to be changing. It's going to be changing real soon, so stay tuned to the channel, guys. We got some new cars coming, some old cars leaving. But now let's jump into all of these beautiful luxury cars, luxury sports cars, luxury SUVs that I've talked about. How was I able to afford all of this? Well, one thing I'll tell you guys is I had to figure out a way to do that. And it wasn't from just working my 9-to-5 job. Although I have a really good job and I'm really thankful to have that job, there was no way I could afford all of this stuff, all these cars and the luxury watches that I own, just based on my primary source of income, which was my 9-to-5. So years ago, I started planning and thinking about how can I make additional money so that at some point in the future, which is now, over the last 4 years, I would be able to afford these cars I just talked about. And those 3 additional streams of income, guys, were real estate, luxury watch sales, and stock market investing, which I've documented on the channel. So if you guys are interested in knowing more about that, go back to the channel and look at the videos that I put out over the last year. If you guys have any specific questions on those 3 additional streams of income, DM me on Instagram at RichardFain28. Well guys, tell me, drop me some comments. Which one of these cars that I just had an opportunity to share with you, which one did you like the best? I know the one that I like the best, but I'm really curious to know which one you guys like the best. Which one should I have kept that I let go? And which one that I currently have should go? Curious to hear your feedback on the cars I've owned over the last 4 years. I've been very fortunate to own such nice cars. You like the video and you like the cars that I have owned over the last 4 years, give me a thumbs up. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing and share the video. But as always guys, keep chasing greatness, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.